Sometimes because I really thought that it was just, I thought that the writing was right there on the wall, but turns out it's not, because the same thing is going on and it's been going on for years now. Now, what I want to focus on in this video is not the boxers Floyd Mayweather and Manny Pacquiao, but the advisors, the promoters, the managers, the networks, and more importantly, how race has played a huge role in the involvement of negotiating Floyd Mayweather versus Manny Pacquiao, especially in the media. See, it's easy, you know, to blame, for black people to blame the old white Jew. It's easy just for Floyd Mayweather to say, you know, it's Bob Arum. You know, and it's easy for people to say, you know, minorities, when you got Floyd Mayweather, Manny Pacquiao, two minorities, it's easy for them to say, you know, you should get away from him. We minorities should take care of each other. I understand all that. I'm all for that. But in my opinion, Floyd Mayweather has been brainwashing you, because he knows that once he says Bob Arum is in the way, or it's Bob Arum's fault, his supporters, African-American supporters, most likely will believe, oh, it's Bob Arum. Floyd Mayweather said it. And then when you look at the faith that the African-American community has in the white man when it comes to doing things for them, then like I don't want to get too deep, but when I see it, I think to myself like, yo, for one, you should be more powerful than Bob Arum. And truth be told, how is Bob Arum stopping you from making $150 million? It's a long, complicated story, and I'm going to try to sift my way through it. I'm T Street Controversy. This is T Street Controversy Live. But first, I'm going to say that Bob Arum is actually in Denver, Colorado for the Alvarado versus Rios 3 fight. And basically, he's did an interview with the sports show of the Denver Post. And right now, shout out to the sports show, I'm going to play a little bit of that interview, and we're going to talk about it. By the way, this interview is 24 hours old, or less than 24 hours old. T Street Controversy, T Street Controversy Live. Whether it's the head of CBS, Les Moonves, who's been great throughout this, you know, on Showtime. Whether it's Richard Plepler, the head of HBO, wanted that fight like you do, because they're fans. They want that fight to happen. As far as Pacquiao, his side, including myself, we've signed off on every point. We negotiated this for a few weeks, and we agreed to everything. So the lawyers... Now, this is the part where they say, God, he's lying. You listen to that shit. Alex Ariza on Fight Hype said that there's no fighting. He's not fighting Pacquiao. Floyd Mayweather did an interview and he said that nothing has been signed. Oh, God, people make me sick. Huh. Now, exchanging papers. But push comes to shove, there was one guy that's going to kibosh everything, and that's Floyd Mayweather.
Why would he do it? He's set to make a lot of money. I mean, he can make, how much money can Mayweather make on this?
Probably around $150 million.
So why would he put the kibosh on it?
Because it's not about the money. It's about, he is obsessed with not losing. And
so it's about his legacy, is what you're saying?
Well, it's not a legacy. No? Because he knows not fighting Pacquiao taints his legacy. He's not stupid. But he's afraid to lose. Because he... And I know, I promoted him for over 10 years. He doesn't like to fight, doesn't want to fight southpaws, and certainly not fast southpaws who can punch. The worst possible opponent that he could face. Let's listen to some more. Face is Manny Pacquiao. And Pacquiao knows that, and Mayweather knows
that. Now, I'm sure you've heard this. On the internet yesterday, somebody who represents Mayweather...
Pause it. We're going to get to this. You know... Now listen to me. This is where things get difficult. Do you know that Floyd Mayweather's own fans are afraid for him? I'm afraid for him because he waited too long at this point in time. And do you think that the promoters know this? Do you think that the networks know this? Do you think that, meaning that Floyd Mayweather is in the toughest fight of his career, and the fact that he waited so long to fight this man, when I don't, like, honestly, I've heard all the crap about Bob Arum being in the way, and yes, I agree, and I know Manny Pacquiao should have took the drug test, yes, I agree. But what I don't agree with is, how are you stopping anybody? If you're the #1 highest paid athlete in the world, how are you allowing anybody to stop you from making money? So that's the part that's always confused me. I'm thinking like, yo, if you're your own boss and everything, you keep coming up with this knick-knack bullshit, and you know you got $100+ million right there, just right there. You know, that's the part I can never get over. You know, people say Pacquiao should have took the $40 million, and I think like, wait a minute, you know, how many times we got to go over it? You know, that fight's going to generate between 250 to about 350 million. Do you know 40 million is only 13%? 13%, 13%, 13%, 13% of 300 million? You know, and it's stuff like that. When I think like people say, I don't know what I'm talking about, I'm thinking like, oh yeah, he should have took the money. No pay-per-view buys, 13%, no pay-per-view buys. You mean to tell me Floyd would have walked away with like 200 mil? You know, Manny Pacquiao 40, 200, 250 mil, Pacquiao 40? What? You know, but listen, we're going to listen to this because this is actually the part of the video I actually wanted to get to the most. We're going to listen to this part right here.
Is blaming you for not being able to pull off this fight. He says there's one person who's keeping this fight from happening. It's you. Here's your rebuttal time.
Well, first of all, Ariza hasn't been part of negotiations. Secondly, he doesn't know how the negotiations have progressed. He doesn't want to know that Pacquiao at Top Rank have agreed to everything. And as far as we're concerned, it's a done deal. He is reaching out because I think he knows from Mayweather that Mayweather isn't going to do the fight. So now they have to look for a scapegoat. And the scapegoat is the promoter on the other side, Bob Arum. But they'll have to encounter Les Moonves, the head of CBS, Richard Plepler, the head of HBO, to know that we have done everything within our power to get this thing done. And it is done. So the fact that he's blamed me is some asinine strategy on his part that will be picked up by certain websites that are really beholden to Floyd Mayweather.
Let's stop it right there. Listen. You know, I don't think that, listen, when it comes to a situation like this, you can't really find Algieri credible. Yes, he said some things about Bob Arum in the past that are consistent to what he's saying now, but guess what? He's working on the other side. And also, it's like, to me, I'm thinking like, you know, common sense, like, why does Bob Arum keep throwing Les Moonves' name out there? Why you keep using that man's name? Why you keep using these people's names? And I'm talking on the street level. Why do you keep using these people's names when you talk to them and you didn't? Because that's what fans say. Well, you know, Les Moonves said on TMZ that he didn't give an ultimatum to Steven Espinoza. And I say, this is the dumbest. Really, I think like these people are brainwashed. Of course, Les Moonves is not going to say that shit out in public like, yes, I told him that if he doesn't get the fight, that I'm shit-canning him up. And I think like people just eat this shit up. It gets frustrating because they be like, look, I told you, Les Moonves said himself that there wasn't. And I'm thinking like, yo, you know, TMZ porters be guys like me out there with the cameras, and you think he's just going to tell some regular guy who sold a video to TMZ, got a little, like, you know, it's just, it gets frustrating because when you got to sift through the bullshit. You got to sift through the bullshit. Let's keep going.
What would be worse for Mayweather's legacy? If he didn't have the fight at all, or if he fought Pacquiao and lost?
I think what would be worse if he didn't have the fight at all. Because if somebody sat down and explained it to him, Floyd, the worst thing that can happen to you if you fight Pacquiao is you're going to lose. But you're a man, you'll give him a good fight, you'll stand up to him, and you'll end up with $150 million.
I just don't see how you can allow anyone to get into your way for that amount of money. 2 weeks ago, about 2 weeks ago, closer to 3 weeks ago, Floyd Mayweather and Manny Pacquiao knew that they were fighting each other. They agreed. Now everything went towards the networks. The networks, just a week ago, had a meeting. Just a week ago, HBO and Showtime had a meeting to discuss basically the details of the fight. There's a lot of information. I'm trying to find this article real quick. There's a lot of information out there that that fans they look past. You have to think like, well, okay, if HBO and Showtime is having this meeting, then who are they talking about? They're having these long meetings, daily talks. But you think they're talking about Miguel Cotto? You know, and I think like common sense. You think that they're like, well, you know, if he doesn't fight him, then he's fighting Miguel Cotto. Like, I mean, do you think that they're in there trying to get that Mayweather versus Pacquiao deal done? Why? Because HBO knows that Pacquiao doesn't have many options to fight. What, Jesse Vargas? Pff, that's not going to be on pay-per-view. It shouldn't. And then you got Floyd Mayweather. What, he didn't condemn Amir Khan. And then you got him fight. If he fights Miguel Cotto again, the only way he can fight Miguel Cotto and fans accept it, which really there will, now let me get this straight, there will be mass outrage. Mass outrage. And it's a shame if Miguel Cotto puts himself in that bullshit. Because then it'll be like, yo, you going to fight Mayweather again, a guy you already lose to, and then what if you lose again and you duck Canelo? That's what fans are going to say, not necessarily saying that it's true. Also, take in mind that Freddie Roach trains both Manny Pacquiao and Miguel Cotto. So you have to think, well, wait a minute, is Manny not going to fight in April? You know, because they're not going to have dual camps. So it's just so many different things that I look at and I say to myself, I don't feed into the bullshit. That's why a lot of times it's hard, difficult doing videos, you know, like consistently on this. But only time when I do videos is when shit like this comes out, you know, shit like this I have to talk about. But when it comes to the Alex Ariza situation, I look at it like this. Listen, Alex Ariza, he's a Floyd Mayweather guy. What is he going to say? Honestly, what is he going to say? What is he going to say? It's his job to take up for his master. It's his master. It's his job to. What is he going to say? Just recently, go check his Twitter, because see, somebody had the nerve to try to tell me, do you know that Steven Espinoza has a fake Twitter account too? And I think, like, really, people, really? Do you know that the one that has a big O is not really him? And it's like, really? Come on, really? So anyway, go to his official account. You should know what his official account is, even though it's not verified. He needs to get that taken care of. He's been openly talking about the fact that the networks are talking, and basically, please understand that it took Mike Tyson and Lennox Lewis. What was that? I forgot what year it was. Basically, it took them like well over a year, damn near a year and a half, to get that deal done. Just on the network side, the fighters already knew they were fighting. Just on the network side. So now they're trying to expedite it, because they got a situation where on the fighters level, Mayweather is A side, Pacquiao B side. On the network level, HBO is A side, Showtime B side. Now understand this. People will be more inclined to buy the HBO broadcast over the Showtime broadcast. Showtime is trying to catch up to HBO, and I know people are going to dispute this. I know they are. But it's more likely that people will buy the HBO pay-per-view than the Showtime pay-per-view. HBO knows this, so HBO feels, okay, well, if y'all A-side with the fight negotiations, then let us be A-side with the network negotiations. So it'll be HBO A-side, Manny Pacquiao B-side, Showtime Mayweather A-side, Showtime the boxing pay-per-view B-side. So understanding like the business the way I do, and doing like the vast amounts of research that I do, I look in between the bullshit, you know, and I see exactly what's going on, and I think like, oh, there is no way at this point in time that if Mayweather doesn't fight Pacquiao, he can blame it on Bob Arum. There is no way. There is no way. And you're going to use Alex Ariza? Yo, if you really going to sit here and say, well, Alex Ariza told us so, yo, you shouldn't be doing videos anymore. You shouldn't be reporting on boxing anymore. Alex Ariza, don't get me wrong, Alex Ariza is the most controversial, most popular strength and conditioning coach of all time. Yes, that's true. Think about it. But really, the same guy that you accuse Floyd Mayweather. Now, you know what, Manny Pacquiao, you know what? I'm just not even going to get into that part. I'm not even going to talk about just the hypocrites. I'm T Street Controversy. This is T Street Controversy Live. I cover every single major fight live. Listen to me. I don't think that Floyd Mayweather's going to allow this to happen. As he said in the interviews, which people keep forgetting. People keep forgetting. He's saying like they hear all old bullshit, and then they listen to Alex Ariza. One day, Floyd Mayweather literally on DJ Whoo Kid, the radio show, literally says at the end of the interview, yes, we're in negotiations. But then you got Alex Ariza on Fight Hype and a couple ESN, but basically Fight Hype, like exclusively published it. Alex Ariza saying, well, I know who Floyd's fighting, but it's not Manny. But then you got this. Nothing makes sense. So how's the Miguel Cotto negotiating and all this? And you think Freddie Roach not talking to Cotto? Like, none of this shit don't make no sense, man. None of this shit don't make no sense. Cotto has a lot to lose. A lot to lose. A lot to lose if he turns coach. If he turns NWO. He has a lot to lose, yo. Listen, I'm T Street Controversy. This is T Street Controversy, RealCombatMedia.com. I cover every single major fight live. Please subscribe. T Street on Twitter. T Street on Instagram. T Street on Facebook. I got 2 Facebook accounts. Please subscribe.